I think we're all set up here now. Hope everyone's doing well. Go ahead and get things started up here in just a second. There we go. We'll take the scene live here. Hello everyone. Oh, camera's down a little bit further than me. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today we are here with a new deck for the Brawl tournament. The Brawl tournament isn't going to be for another hour and a half, but I figure we can still show off the deck a little bit, get in some test games, see how well it really functions. I do still need to actually submit the deck list to the tournament, but I wanted to try to see if we can maybe get some test games in, see if we like how all the cards are working, and if there feels like something needs to be adjusted, we can maybe make a tweak to the deck before the tournament starts. If you're wondering what time the tournament will start, it will start 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that means that we have about an hour and 20 minutes actually until the start of the tournament. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoying themselves. Hope the weekend treated everyone well. Alright, but in which case, for the tournament, we have a special restriction to it. The restriction is that we are going to have to build a deck using a commander that is specifically from Dominaria United. So for our choice, I figured one of the best cards actually is one of the uncommons, Tatyova, Steward of Tides. So for double green and a blue, land creatures you control have flying. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to one target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature. With haste, it's still a land. This means all we have to do is just ramp. Just search our deck for lands, throw them in play, and we have our attacking force. To help our idea, we go with a whole bunch of like early ramp cards. So we have ourselves still our Mystic and Llanowar Elf because they're just great 1-drops because it's something to do turn 1. But as early as turn 2, we can play something like Into the North to search for a land, put it straight into play. We have Nissa's Triumph to search for any basic force to add to hand. And adding to hand is still very useful to our deck because this means that we can try to control the amount of lands that we put into play before we go Tatyova to board. So that way we can then build up the triggers. Cards that help us with also playing lands, extra lands per turn. We have Dryad of Leeson Grove, as well as Azusa. We're not actually using the Enchantment Saga to help with extra land drops with this deck. But we also do have like Growth Spiral and the new Joint Exploration as ways to draw cards and potentially play extra lands in turn. We have You Happen Upon a Glaive because, like Nissa's Triumph, it allows us to add 2 lands to hand as an option, but we also do have the possibility of just using this to add any permanent from our graveyard back to our hand. We do actually run Crucible of Worlds because there is a chance for us to use things like Failed Passage, Evolving Wilds, Broker's Hideout, and just be able to get extra land drops each turn by just keep replaying that land from our graveyard. So I figured that was a strong combo. And because we're using that, we also have the Raminat Excavator. Exact same thing allows us to play our lands from our graveyard. Because we do use a number of creatures that either enter the battlefield, go get us a land, or make it so that we can play lands, extra lands, or lands from top of our deck, things like that. We do actually run also Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. So that way all of our creatures will also count towards lands. So that way when we bring them to the board, we'll help get these landfall triggers. As another thing, we are actually running regular Tatyova from the first Dominaria set because it's just extra card draw, life gain, could help the deck idea as well. So that's a bit of the idea of a lot of the cards. To actually go for a burst of value that could actually end a game, we actually do have Scape Shift in the deck. So we can sacrifice any number of lands, search our library for that many land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Now, the thing is, this does put them onto the battlefield tapped, so we won't be able to use those new lands that come into play as ways to kill our opponent unless we did like a dramatic reversal in the deck to untap for a combo. But I decided not to try to include that. I do like the idea of still using Scape Shift because it means that we could sacrifice up to X lands and be able to animate a whole bunch of other lands that could push the lethal. So I figured that is a still decent enough combo. Oh, one thing to also make note of. Tatyova, Steward of Tides. It allows you to target any land you control to turn into a 3/3 elemental, even if it already is a creature. So if you combine it with Nissa, who shakes the world, have Nissa untap one of your lands, make it a 0/0 with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Then you land drop. You can use Tatyova and animate into a 3/3, effectively having yourself a 6/6 flying creature now. So, and if, by the way, I did forget to actually go over this. Tatyova's ability passive is land creatures you control have flying, so that's why I figure they will work amazingly. Now, since Nissa is our only planeswalker in the deck, I am running the Immortal Sun, give us the extra card draw value. If we accidentally shut off Nissa, it's not likely that we'll possibly in a 100 card deck come across them both, but it's still a maybe situation that could happen. We'll see. It's always a depending on what's going on the board, whether we're okay with shutting off the Nissa pluses. But the thing is, it's getting the extra card draw and giving all of our creatures +1/+1 could be worthwhile to do that kind of a situation. Now, because we run primarily the goal of animating our lands into creatures, we are running cards like Cyclone Summoner, where it returns all permanents on our hand except for Giants, Wizards, and lands. We also run cards like River's Rebuke, Consuming Tides. That way we can return all those cards that aren't lands that are creatures back to the hand, so that way our land creatures could potentially get a sudden strike in and be lethal to an opponent. Now, Consuming Tide does let the opponent keep one of their non-land permanents on board. But with this, that means that we can also keep Tatyova as our one non-land permanent, potentially, and make it so that way all of our lands that are still on board still are flying 3/3 creatures. So, I hope that makes sense on why I'm choosing a lot of these cards. To help support it out, we do have a lot of counter magic, some bounce. That way we can keep the opponent off the board or off their main cards. We'll jump into some games here and see how it will work before we go into the event. And if we see something that needs changing, we'll go ahead and make some adjustments. The Historic Brawl, and we'll try out Tatyova. Now, one of the things I was thinking about adding was actually some of the extra turn spells. But I wasn't sure how comfortable I felt about using them. I always feel like extra turn cards are a little cheaty sometimes. Alright. So from our first test hand, we actually have a pretty decent setup. If you're wondering why I'm running some non-snow lands, it's because there are cards that do affect player snow mana sources. So I went with the idea of having a mix. And we want the snow sources because of our card that doesn't allow us to search for any snow land to put into play. Mox Amber for our opponent. Our Liberator will be able to make short work of that. Now, Azusa is a strong card, but unfortunately we don't have many extra lands in hand. So going for turn 3 Azusa is not very useful. Let's see here. I think we're better off going for Stomper. Get ourselves a blue source. And we'll pass it back, because we can't really attack it. Now, Linval is actually kind of hard to deal with because of the ability to sacrifice to give all your creatures hexproof and indestructible. Let's see here. I think we'll go ahead and go for a spring. Get another blue source. Oh, I should have made that one a green one because of the storm. Alright, we'll pass. Yeah, the opponent's got a very fly-heavy hand here. Let's attempt to put this back in your hand, opponent. Alright, so we can go for the lands. Opponent's tapped out, so we will storm the festival. This is actually a pretty bad storm the festival here. I still choose to get the Mystic, even though it's not particularly useful to us. I probably should have actually brought Tatyova out. This is actually me still getting used to the deck. Let's see, activatable creatures opponent can't be activated. Let's go ahead and get rid of the mana source, I guess, before the creature comes into play. Because it pinches them on the white sources, and we can use Consuming Tide, bounce everything back. Let's see, so this is, I think, how I have to do it. Tatyova. Nissa's Triumph. Get ourselves 2 lands. Play a land. Target 1. Oh, no, we are unfortunately short for this Consuming Tide. Wait, why can't I play this? I have 4 mana. Oh. Interesting. I didn't realize that that would shut off mana abilities. Most of those cards don't shut off mana abilities. But yeah, we'll go ahead and give them the GGs. We can't do anything here. I didn't get Tatyova to the board soon enough for the purpose of animating land. So that way I could actually make use of cards like the Consuming Tide. Alright. Well, learned our lesson. We'll move on to the next game. That's why we try to get in some of these games before the event happens. Always important to get a feel for your deck before you take it into a tournament, after all. Whether you built it yourself or copied someone else's deck idea, you always still want to get that play experience. That way you're sure how the cards interact. This one could be a little awkward. I think we'll take the free mulligan. I'll keep this one. Still on the awkward side, but it has a lot of payoffs if we hit the mana, and we are a ramp deck, so... Okay, we're gonna just draw every single one of our expensive cards. I think I've literally hit almost every expensive card in the deck here. Alright, go for the Growth Spell right away, just that way the opponent can't potentially counterspell it. We do get lucky enough to hit a land, so if we can top deck land, we can go for Druid of Emerald Grove. And if you're not familiar with this, this will make us roll a d20 after we search our deck for 2 lands. And we can, depending on the roll, put them either in the hand or to play. But we'll go for Azusa. Opponent only has 1 mana, so it's going to resolve. Question is, do they have the burn spell to get rid of it? It seems they do. Our main issue right now is we are just lacking mana. Didn't think I'd ever have that as an issue with this deck, with just missing lands. Okay. Let's go for green source. So if it switches between day or night, it gets +1/+1 counter. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast where it's equal to its power. Let's see here. I think it's still best for us to go for the druid here. Get ourselves a green and blue source. At 17 allows us to put one of them on the play, so it's kind of like a cultivate in this case. Alright, opponent's intentionally passing, which turns it to night. Question is, do they have counterspell magic? I mean, they have the Hermit there. So I think if we can resolve this Ashaya, we get a huge advantage against the opponent. We'll try for it. Nah, they have Tails End. That's unfortunate. Alright, opponent. Your turn. We can always discard Sky Turtle to get back the Ashaya. How'd that work again? The next instant or sorcery spell you cast costs X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control. They only go for an X4 on the draw with Revelation. Alright, all they have left open is red sources, and they need a blue to activate Hermit, so... That's the case. Let's go ahead and say... Return, return, return. We'll play the Uro. Sadly, not a land. Okay, so we find Scapeshift, and as we mentioned before, Scapeshift does have a strong combo with the Tatyova. I don't know if we'll be able to get it to resolve. It'd be great if I could have 1 more mana, just something I could hold up Frilled Mystic as well. Let's go for the Steward. And we'll pass. From here, we have the ability to use Sky Turtle. Opponent. Alright. I knew that they were holding up mana for something, but due to the cost reduction from the Archmages, how they were able to cast that for only 2. I forgot how cheap that was to use. Alright. Opponent takes an extra turn. Trying to think like if I use Sky Turtle or not. It feels weird being a ramp deck and still having this few lands out. Our opponent's going to pass it to us. We will bring back Ashaya. Attempt Ashaya to the board again. And opponent skips it up. I guess Ashaya is too strong for them? Man, they see that the Tatyova combo with the Ashaya is probably really strong, and since they don't have an answer to it... Yeah. Okay. Well, we take that win. I mean, that was still probably a really early scoop from our opponent, considering we don't have the ability to push a lethal against them for quite a few turns. Yeah, I mean, with this deck, I'm actually not bothering with the Scoot Swarm combo, but I just realized that if we actually used this Tatyova with Ashaya with Scoot Swarm, Ashaya makes it so all of our creatures count as lands. We could have actually transformed, I think, the Scoot Swarm into a 3/3. And then they would all become 3/3 lands that would also have flying. That would be interesting. Now, the non-tokens actually wouldn't have flying. I'm sorry, the tokens wouldn't have flying because they wouldn't be treated as lands. But it still would have been interesting. Alright, well, on the open, we'll keep this. While joint exploration is not a guarantee, like... Oh, wow. Okay, that's what's great about it, is it does allow us to dig into the land. I was gonna say, though, it's not as strong for the ability to just get land, put it straight into play, because you have to pay 3 mana to do that. It does have the convenience of being able to just play it right away and do something like that. Alright, sacrifice this. Get ourselves a blue and green source. I just realized our opponent is Soul of Windgrace. Might have been a good idea just to hold up the Sinister Sabotage. But I wanted to try to get our mana fix, that way we can go for like Augur of Autumn or just keep playing in general. Alright, interesting. Opponent's going to target their own land with the Dire Strain Rampage. So that allows them to switch what kind of land color it is. Or actually, it destroys land, then they get 2 lands, so... But the useful thing for them is they get a land to the graveyard, so they can just get it back with that. The Hearse actually counters their ability to use Windgrace. We'll go ahead and put the Hearse onto the board. We will accept the loss of a land drop here, unfortunately. Really hoping to get one more land for this Nissa, because it is so much extra mana production. Mammoth for our opponent. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of the 2 cards from their graveyard. Cultivator's a pretty good draw, because it gives us a body and it also gives us the ability to search for a land. We'll make it a green source since we have Nissa in hand. One's going to happen upon a glade to get themselves 2 basics. So one of the nice things about you happen upon a glade is that it is instant speed. The attack with the Mammoth will just take the 5 because I want to hold up a potential chump blocker for the Nissa. Ooh, Flaf. That's going to be 3 tokens for the opponent. Because it's based on the basic lands. That's a great draw. Well, I feel like if I go for the Nissa, they can just punch in and still kill it. So we're going to go for Augur. Fortunately, can't play that. Where's all of our lands? I think I just need maybe just up the number of just lands in the deck. Right. Hunt's gonna escape into the wilds. Ooh, that's a Scoot Swarm. That's dangerous. Yep. Alright, well, unfortunately, I know that this card's not a land, so we have to hope the top card is a land. We're gonna have to offer a chump block against this Mammoth. Take a bit of a hit. We will get rid of the 2 cards from their graveyard. Okay. Land to board. We get to send everything back to our opponent's hand. And I'm going to hold back on attacking just in case they play some kind of haste threat on the ground. That way we can still block, since we're so low on life. Yep. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. That is going to be a good game. So, even if I were to block the one I can, I still die. That's a shame. We couldn't get lands, and that's 2 games down in a row I couldn't just draw basics. And we have so many cards in our deck that are search your deck for lands that I don't know how we're avoiding all of those. I think I have my deck as like 50% ramp, and the other 50% is a mix of lands and the cards that we've been drawing. So this has been really awkward. Okay, this one's not a keep. This one will be a keep. We're actually fine getting a flood hand in general. Okay, Soul Warden is good. Go with the island to the board, and we'll pass it back. Next turn, we'll go for the Tatyova to the board. This way, if the opponent has a kill spell for it, we force it out of their hand, and we'll be able to... Whenever an opponent searches their library, gain 1 life, draw a card. That's annoying. Oh boy, we search our deck a lot. Alright, reassembling the skeleton for our opponent. It's got Flash also, which is even more annoying. Alright, well, we're just gonna have to give him the card draw. There's no way of getting around it. Actually, there is a way, but we'll give him the 1 free draw. So what we can do is we can actually use Otawara, bounce the Archivist, and then we can use Pact Negation to counter it when it comes back to the board. How do you work again? Have to have a full party to get the trigger? Is it worth... I mean, I think I'd rather just hold the counterspell for a more important target. See, your land comes to play untapped, which means I can go for the Rejuvenator. This doesn't count as searching, right? That's just looking at the top so many cards. Alright. Yeah, we'll also put this land on the board. Get it hidden. What's our opponent do? They're coming in with everything, which means I think they're planning on hitting us with a board wipe. We'll block like so. We have Pact Negation here, so this is going to be a bit of a blowout against them. And yeah, there we go. We got him scooped up. Pact Negation. It's a heck of a card. Nothing quite like saying, you know, oh no, I don't have any response, and then still have a response. Okay, well, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what card in the deck I'm thinking might need to come out, and maybe get ourselves better prepared for the tournament. We are enrolled in the tournament, but we haven't submitted our deck, which we need to still do, and I need to try to have that submitted by 5:40. So I have another 30 minutes of testing. This is actually a card I'm not sure if it's really that necessary for the deck, but I figured I'd just give this a try. The Grella. Okay. So we can have a turn 2 Stomper, which means we'll have access to 5 mana by turn 3. Alright, Putted Swords. Sad times, but we'll get this Stomper next turn. Now, Tatyova does require us to have 7 or more lands on the battlefield before we can start animating our lands. Alright, Charming Prince for the opponent. Probably just going to scry 2 here. Alright, both to the bottom. Alright, we're gonna tap it like so. Just so we can hold up the Fate and Hope still. Be the opponent's turn. Nadar for the opponent. Okay, so Nadar, ETB, or attacks, they get to go into the dungeon. One, two, three, four, 5. We can Channeler, and I think with the Channeler, we'll take the card draw. Yeah, but it's like thinking, can they block? And realizes Stomper can't block, so they attack in for the 2. Let's tap like so, go for the Channeler. We'll take the card draw. Go for the blue source, make it look like we're holding a counterspell magic, and pass the turn. Fun's just stuck on 3 mana. Unfortunate for them. Based on the amount of mana we have here, I'm actually going to offer the double block to try to trade against the Paladin to shut off their ability to use the dungeon mechanics. We do lose the Mystic Elf, which is ramp, but that's fine. What do you have, opponent? You seem to have some kind of interaction here. Going to Ephemerate, so they're going to flicker it. If I bounce that, that fizzles Ephemerate, which means they won't have the rebound. And we'll keep that. I like the Immortal Sun. Alright, they do bring it back, so they do get the ETB again. But like I said, I was trying to stop the rebound so that way they could get the trigger again. Alright, the sun is onto the board. So Planeswalkers won't be able to use their abilities, we'll get extra draw. all of our creatures get +1/+1, and we get a cost reduction of 1 generic. Next turn, we'll be able to play Tatyova, play the land, animate the land, and Stomper will be able to attack as well. Alright. Friend of the Wolves hits the board. The Wolf can kill the Mystic, or it can trade with our Channeler. And I'm okay with the trade there. So all their creatures are going to get +1/+1 as long as Selfless Paladin now remains on the board. Because they have completed their first dungeon. And we get our double card draw. I mean, drawing lands isn't bad for us, but I was really hoping to find something else. Let's go ahead and send both of these. We're actually willing to trade in Stomper if they were to block, because it prevents them from... They are a blink deck. They are about reactivating the ETBs of their cards. So if I had have gotten Tulsimir destroyed, it would have been great. So they're going to exile one of our cards, one of their cards. Now, we just simply say, we're going to keep our Tatyova, we'll replay it. It does actually get the cost reduction of 1 thanks to the Immortal Sun here. Ooh. Well, still better for us probably play this one. Oh, we actually can play them both. Alright, opponent's thinking things out. We'll pay for the 2. Tatyova getting smaller doesn't hurt us. Not really. It does keep us from being able to bring out this Tatyova in the same turn, but that's okay. We'll just send the flyers. Alright, so I'm going to Cloud Shift. So it's going to leave the battlefield, re-enter the battlefield. And with that, they can get the Lagrella ETB triggers. Well, at leave and ETB. So Charming Prince is going to get 2 extra +1/+1 counters put on it. Lagrella is now able to exile one of their creatures, one of our creatures again. And let's see, what are they going to choose with Charming Prince here? They're going to exile another creature, like I thought. Now, they won't get that creature back to the board until the end step. But this means Tulsimir now will get a 4/4 wolf token to fight one of our creatures. I think it's just going to fight our Tatyova. Yeah, no big surprise there. We'll take that action. We'll remove the perpetual effects. Let's see, from here we can actually play Cyclone Summoner, bounce the board, keep our land. Let's see, any of you actually wizards? No. Okay, we're good. Alright, they're gonna momentary blink. Not a bad idea for our opponent to do that before our creature gets back to the board, because it makes it so that way these lands transform back, and we won't be able to get the ETB triggers. Alright, so Tulsimir is going to come back once more. Now, the dog is a legendary creature, so they can only keep one of them. One of the things they could have done is they could have attacked with the 4/4, see if we blocked with Stomper, and been able to then trade their 4/4 against our 5/5. Okay, well, let's go for Tatyova back to the board. We'll play this, decline the action, and we'll just animate another land. I know they have Momentary Blink that they can cast again, because it's an instant. We'll pass it back. At this point, I didn't want to attack him with Stomper because, like I mentioned before, they could have done the trade the wolf and flicker Tolsimir and then kill the wolf. Now, since they wait until the end step, they won't actually get their wolf generating creature until the end step. They actually can use Tail's End to counter the trigger. And I think I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go for Tatyova. And, alright, opponent has scooped it up. Because we are generating way too much value against them now. The great thing about this is, whenever we get a land, they'll go to the battlefield. Now we get a gain a life, draw a card, and we also get to turn it into a 3/3. We're going to play land, play Oracle of Muldai, and be able to play lands off the top, and we can play more than one land each turn. So there's a ton of value that we were going to get. Now, actually, I think what we would have done is actually play Oracle of Muldai first. That way, if there's a land on top, we could play from the top of our deck. And if there wasn't, we could play the land and then potentially see if there's a land again. So, lots of great value off the deck idea here. I'm still not sure which cards I think are working suboptimally that we might need to trim. We'll go ahead and take a look at the deck again, see, because I need to get ready to submit this. Try to double check if there's anything that needs to come out. See. Let's double check how many lands are we actually running in the deck. We're running 40 lands. I think we might want to run just a couple more basics and just trim some cards. Just because of how important it is for us to actually hit our lands. In that case, then, what do we take out for the lands? Yeah, I did think the Aether Channeler was kind of mid, so we'll take that out. I don't think it's a bad card, but I think we're just going to take it out, so that way we can just have, again, like I said, just a little more mana. I think I'm only going to take out 2 cards. Yeah, I think we'll take out Croaking Counterpart as well. We'll do those 2, and we'll just put in one more basic of each. Let's also maybe, like, see if we can find a land that we like the art of more. I don't think I have a special island. No, I do not. I hope everyone's doing well and they're enjoying the game so far. I guess we can use the Jace land. So we want 10 islands that are regular. And for the forest, there's the Jace Forest. We could just go with that theme. It's also got water on it, so yeah, there we go. Oh, one more land. There we go. If you're just joining us, we're getting ready for the Brawl tournament. This is going to be the deck idea, I think. So, we got ourselves a bunch of counterspell magic, bounce magic, ramp, and we rely on the Steward of Tides land enter battlefield to really give us a win condition here. So, our goal is just to draw lands and keep playing the lands with Tatyova and beat our opponents that way. Now, we do have some cards that should help us out outside of that, with the form of like Hydra Crisis as a great X spell. We have Coma, we have Cyclone Summoner, and just give us a couple of like really good late game plays. But our main way to win is really just off the land enter battlefield effects. The reason why I run so many counterspell magics in the deck is just to help us protect our combo. I say combo, but I mean like just to help us just protect our board. But let me go ahead and export this deck and upload it to the events. And we'll play a few more games until the event starts. If anyone ever has any questions, feel free to shout out. I'll do my best to answer. Oh, that's right. It never likes just straight exporting. I have to put this in a text document first. How do I spell? Oh, there it is. Did it get the whole deck? Sometimes when I import this, it doesn't always get all the cards in. Yeah, it got the whole deck. So we are submitting the list, and we're good to go for the tournament now. Tournament's going to be in 30 more minutes. So we'll get a little more practice before the event actually starts. Oop, that was a misclick. There we go. I just realized that the untap.gg thing's not going to display the deck list for everyone. That's a bit of a shame. Because it only works for once when you play with like ranked games, and unfortunately the historic format for Brawl doesn't ever get recorded into that app. Alright, I'm gonna take the risk with this hand, I think. Let's see, what are we against? We're against another Lagrella. Yeah, I think we're good to keep. Won't lie, I'm a little greedy because I want to try to see if we can get the Escape Shift combo off. Hello, opponent. How you doing? Again, somehow I upped the number of basic lands in the deck and I cannot draw the lands. We just need one more land and we should be able to picks our mana for the most part. Oop, there we go. I think I'm going to happen upon a Glade first. And I want to do it now while the opponent is tapped out. I could have gone with the idea that I pass the turn and use out my opponent's turn, so that way I could have the Knight advantage with the Liberator. See, how did you work again? Return a card. I don't really want to return any of their cards right now, because they're all enter battlefield, get a card type effects. Let's see, if we go for the Azusa, we can play one more land. That means we could... Now, I should have played the Forced, because then I could have held up the Scorn. So in that case, I'm going to go for the Rejuvenator. Take the Field Passage, and pass it to the opponent. The reason why I take the Failed Passage is we do actually have Crucible Worlds and things like that to allow us to potentially replay our lands from our graveyard. Okay. Let's see. Not too worried about the Cleric there. Let's see, we can actually Krasis for quite a bit here. Opponent only has 1 blue mana. What's the odds they have the ability to stop us from drawing? 1, 2, 3, 4. The X4 Krasis seems good enough. It's an extra draw 2. Get ourselves a nice big body. The only problem is the opponent is a Lagrella deck. I'm just using Krasis here as a draw. I'm not actually thinking that Krasis is going to be a real body to the board. Because they have a lot of cards that it's going to flicker the... Yeah, there's the Ephemerate. So they're going to now exile the Krasis. I'm not sure if they'll re-exile Overseer here. They may choose a different card. Because they'll make the Overseer a 4/3 flyer. Okay. And now they get the rebound, so they can do it again. Yeah, like I said, they would get rid of the Krasis, but I wasn't sure what they were going to do for this part of it. So they have different powers, so they can activate that, make that a 3/3 lifelinker. I decided to take the hit. My music stopped playing. Alright. Unfortunately, I have a teleportation circle. Now, the funny thing is, we actually can get rid of the teleportation circle if they flicker the Lagrella again, because we can sacrifice Liberator in response to it being targeted. See here. Land for turn. I think like what's our best course of action. Let's go ahead and get Azusa to the board. And we'll hold up both Dissipate and Pact of Negation here. March actually not a bad card for us to have access to mana as well. We'll offer the block against Visionary, soak some, just to soak some damage. Yarion. Let's Dissipate. I don't want to have Yarion give them a whole board flicker. And it being on the board with Teleportation Circle would be bad for us. Just way too much value for our opponent. As is a Charming Prince, I think I'm just going to go ahead and Pact the Prince. Because of this, the value that they can get with it, with the Teleportation Circle. I probably shouldn't have Packed the Prince in all honesty. Because I'm going to have to pay the mana now. Alright, land to board. And we'll pass. Alright, let's see. Whenever you exile a creature from the... Nope, I can't let you have that. Unfortunately, we're just tapping out just exactly, so we don't have enough to punish them with the Outland Liberator against their Teleportation Circle. A little frustrating, in all honesty. No blocks. I know we're going to take a big hit. Alright. Go for Tatyova. Go for the lands. Animate said land. And pass it back. We have March of Swirling Mists to help us out here. How do you work again? Enters the battlefield, gain 2 life, scry 2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile 1 target creature you control. Sure. Extraction Specialist, unfortunately, allows them to get Charming Prince. Okay, resolve that. And we're gonna march for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we march 6. Right? No, it's 5. 1. Yeah, march 5. Submit 0. So, exile. Or it's not really exiling. It's causing them to phase out. Now they can't use Lagrella for the purpose of their teleportation circle. Problem is it does become day again. Oh, shoot. Seeming fence. Alright. Well, I can bounce that back with the iteration. Oh, they forgot to call something. No blocks. Let's see what we get off top. Now, the thing is, the opponent actually had the opportunity to fix their scheming fence here and chose not to. So let's see here. I'm trying to think how we can do this. Opponent's at 34. We can represent 3. We can also sacrifice half our lands here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can animate the other 4. So that's not nearly enough to push lethal in the air. Because 4, 5. That's only 18 damage. Not good enough. But I still think it's probably our best bet to play these. Here. Yeah, we'll still do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sacrifice these. 1, 2. Oh wait, I can get any land. Forgot about that. Since you're gonna enter battlefield tapped anyways, I may as well get this. And get this because it'll ETB destroy itself. Get ourselves another land search. Then a couple in the air. Pass it to the opponent, putting a stop at this point in the opponent's turn. That way we can make sure we destroy a teleportation circle before it goes to their end step. Because they forgot to name anything with Seeming Fence. Alright, Innkeeper for our opponent. Get rid of the teleportation circle. I held off immediately destroying it because I was thinking I could use this as a chump blocker, then destroy. Okay. So... Inventive Iteration. Return this back to hand. And we will just poke in for 2 of the attacks. Pass it back to the opponent. Let's see, we're looking at 3, 6, 9. I'm trying to figure out how much we can actually push through for a potential lethal, but unfortunately the opponent does keep gaining life back. See, we actually could use Sky Turtle as a discard, get back a card. Alright. That's unfortunate that they got that, because it just gives them a lot of extra draw considering the base power of all their creatures. Is it worth discarding Turtle to get back something? And if we do, what do we get back? We could discard it, get back March. I think we'll hold on to it for right now. Alright, we can actually play both of these. Animate the lands. Decline this. Animate the land. We're only at 5. I'm trying to think like how much our opponent has his attacking bodies and how much we need to actually defend with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they can potentially attack us with 13 bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we're good at attacking with just the 2 still. Alright, Wall of Blossom gives the opponent a card draw. Also gives them a little life, but because of this being on the board, it's double draw. Yep. Gonna have to let that resolve. Float the mana. It's actually quite the grinding match. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to actually end out scooping because of when the tournament starts. Alright, opponent seems to be passing priority, so... They're sending some attackers. And I must block. Yes, I overblock on the cleric there. Just to make sure it's like if they have some type of combat trick, we make sure it dies. That kind of idea. Okay, so playing Stomper, because of this transforming, will make it so that way the opponent can't play anything of mana value 3. They have a lot of 3 costs in their deck, so that should potentially help us out a little bit. Of course, they flash that in response. Wait, okay. What does that really do for our opponent? Anything? Because this just phases out. This isn't a leave battlefield, re-enter battlefield situation here. They may have mistaken how that card works. But we're just gonna have to pass the turn. Their aggressive force on the board is too large for us to not hold back blockers right now. I'm trying to think, how do I handle this mammoth? Answer is I don't. Oh, jeez. Okay, so land comes back to us. Azusa's not really doing much more for us right now, so I'm fine with losing Azusa. But, you know, I'm going to tell the opponent that... Well, no, we have a few more minutes. We'll try to ride it out, see if we can get through this. Okay, resolve that, resolve that. So much stacked iterations here. Now, I know the opponent did something. Alright, so they're trying to target Tatyova here. Take the action. I do think it's interesting that they decide to, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and say good game to the opponent. They actually did manage to acquire quite the board state we can't really handle. We went a little too slow against it. Alright. Well, we have... Hey there, Hench, how are things going? We have probably about another 5 to 10 minutes before the turn... Well, about 10 minutes before the turn probably gets started. There's usually that small delay once when it hits 6. But I guess we'll open a pack or two right now. Well, it looks like a pack. Let's see what we get in our free pack here. Actually, this is a really cool card that I think I'm going to try making a white-black deck around. This plus the other legendary white-black creature from the set. Now, this Horde Master is actually an amazing goblin, and if you hadn't seen, it actually led to a modern tournament win. So, don't underestimate how powerful this new goblin is. But how are things going, Hinge? Hope things are going well for you. As well as everyone else in the chat. Yeah. If you're joining us, we'll actually be playing this deck right here for the Brawl. Now, if you're not familiar with the new Tatyova Steward of Tides, it basically is you play lots of lands, animate them into creatures, and all your creatures will have flying as a passive. I was originally thinking about running some of those enchantments that make it so that we can animate a land at will. Then I realized they're a little slow and I don't feel like they're necessary for the deck. The goal is that we just play a lot of cards that just go fetch us lands, put them into play, or add them to our hand. And then we play a bunch of cards that allows us to get extra land drops. So we have like Azusa Lost But Seeking, we have the Augur of Autumns to play off the top of our deck, and we also have like Oracle of Moldai, so that way we get those extra land drops and another way to play off the top of our deck. The Crucible Worlds was actually one of those cards I was thinking about cutting from the deck, but I thought it was a cool card idea because then we could use Fabled Passages, Evolving Wilds, and Broker's Hideout to get the value. And I just realized I did make a mistake. I forgot to add a certain elemental. I forgot to add the Ancient Green Warden to this deck. I already submitted the deck list, so I can't update it. I just realized I forgot to add this to the deck. So the reason why this would have been a perfect add-in is it gives you double landfall triggers. So one land comes into play, we can animate 2 lands. We're able to play our lands from our graveyard, so it works just like a Crucible of Worlds. So I don't know why I didn't think about adding this until just now. Just had a complete lapse in remembering this card here, because I also have Ramunite Excavator in the deck as well. Oh well. It's one of those things, there's so many cards in the game, it's so easy to accidentally gloss over some powerful cards that you may want to use in your deck. Now, I actually do run one copy of an Unlicensed Hearse just to make sure we can eat at graveyards if we get paired against them. Nice to have at least the possibility of the card, than not have anything. But the other thing is, even if our opponent doesn't have any Reanimator plan, we can still just eat their graveyard completely out and just be able to still use this as a huge swinger creature, because we never plan on actually attacking with Tatyova, so it's perfect for clearing our hearse. But the goal is disrupt the opponent with lots of bounce, so Brazen Borrowers, Blink of an Eye, into the Royal, and then use lots of counterspell magic, Pact of Negation, Disdainful Stroke, Urtai Score, and Saw It Coming. Do that just to help get us through the early game. As well as late game, those counterspells come in handy, because once when we start animating all of our lands into creatures, we don't want to just see it get hit by a board wipe. Alright, let's check in with the tournament, see if we have our first pairing yet. Oh, and it looks like we've got our first pairing, so let's go ahead and check in and get started on this tournament. We are against the Birthing Potter. We have played against this person once before. Let's see, so challenge match, friendly brawl, and here we go. Oh, select deck. Tatyova. Almost made a mistake there. Alright, so I've updated the info so that way it reflects. We're in round 1 here. Let's see how well this deck can perform. If you're not familiar with our Brawl tournaments, we're playing Historic Brawl, so it's going to be a best of 3. And we do actually have a special restriction for this Brawl. We are going to be doing Dominaria United, specifically. So all of our commanders have to be from Dominaria United. All right. Okay, there we go. It took a little bit, but the matchmaker finally found each other. All right, so on the open, we actually have a pretty good set of lands here. And I actually kind of like this hand, so we'll keep this. Only drawback to this hand is we don't have the guaranteed 4th land source here, but Growth Spiral ramp into a Cultivator seems amazing. Alright, let's get the ramp on. Go ahead and put this onto the board. Oh yeah, one thing about Pathways. If you have a put on board effect, it's always going to be the front side of the card. So, it is a downside, but it's still perfectly fine. Let's get ourselves another blue source here. Thoughtseize from our opponent. Oh no! Well, goodbye, Frilled Mystic. They may take the Consuming Tide, but I'm thinking they take the Mystic, yep. Opponent's going to go invading, huh? Let's see, so we don't have land 7 yet. To play for the turn, I mean. So let's actually leave Tatyova over there for right now. Go for our hearse. And I'll actually send the 3. Opponent's turn. Alright, Core Celebrant for our opponent. So this is a, whenever their creatures die, we lose life, they gain life. Let's go ahead and eat the Thoughtseize from the graveyard. Alright, we go for the Tatyova. Get that land drop. Animate the land. And we'll go swinging. We'll swing both. Now, the opponent does get to drain us 2 here for blocking with that. And they also get 1 life back thanks to the Cruel Celebrant. But I wanted to get it off the board just to keep it from growing. Adeline. That's, I mean, a good play for our opponent. Because they get a fair bit of drain against this, because it doesn't matter if that creature survives, we still lose life here. We'll actually go ahead and eat our graveyard. Alright, here we go. The Fabled Passage. The double animation. We'll go ahead and do this to that. Go get a green source here, and we'll animate a blue source. We'll send the Sky Troops. And next turn, we can probably just play Consuming Tide and swing in lethal. Assuming they don't have some kind of board wipe. Yawgmoth. Okay, so pay life, sacrifice another creature, put -1/-1 counters on things. Okay. Trying to think, how do I do this? Do I just Otawara bounce the Yawgmoth right now? Let's go ahead and crew first. Use Tatyova. We'll offer a block, offer a block. Because we can just eat the 2 cards from our graveyard, and that will keep Adeline from... Okay, resolve. Exile 2 cards from our... Oh, wait, we only have 1 card in our graveyard? Oh, that's fine. That's still enough to take out the Adeline. Okay. The opponent makes it set where they can keep the Adeline. I'm fine actually giving up the vehicle here. Because we'll go Consuming Tides. They can only keep 1 of their non-land permanents. We're going to choose our Tatyova. Land to board. Animate. Send it. I'm actually fine with losing Tatyova, so that way I can get the counter off of it. Because they're going to have to replay completely to the board. I actually shouldn't have sent the Tatyova. I accidentally hit attack all, so that was on me. There's no reason for me to do that. Okay, so Tatyova back to board. We play Otawara. Animate the Otawara. And that's lethal. Alright, it was a good match there. Alright, that's our first win. So we still need to get 1 more from this opponent in our best of 3. Alright, so direct come on. I click direct challenge against Birthing Pod here. Friendly Brawl, and here we go again. Oh, I forgot to... I forgot to click to say our opponent wins the coin toss. That was my bad. Opponent wins coin flip. There we go. Okay, so we know that the opponent is all about generating a lot of token bodies, have lots of ways to sacrifice them off to immediately drain us for value. There's not a whole lot that we can do outside of just go with the idea of just flying over them with Tatyova on board. So hopefully we can get ourselves the lands and do such a thing again. Okay, that was an arena bug. Go ahead and give that another try. Arena, this time with feeling. Alright, friendly brawl, best of one. Opponent wins coin flip. Here we go. Okay, so I'm not in love with this hand, considering we know how the opponent's deck works. So we're just gonna hit mulligan. I like this hand a lot more. We're gonna shock ourselves for the 2, go for the Llanowar Elf. I'm gonna see if... Actually, I think it's better for us to go for Rejuvenator over Augur of Autumn. That way, we have the potential of playing off the top of our deck right away and get the value immediately from Augur of Autumn, then let the opponent have a chance to interact with it. Alright, let's get ourselves another green source here. Alright, Welcoming Vampire will let our opponent draw. That's only once each turn trigger, but still a lot of potential draw value for our opponent. Let's go for the Augur. Unfortunately, it's not a land on top, but we'll go with the... We'll put Fable Passage on board and pass. This means that we can manipulate the top of our deck a little bit. So if it's not a land on top, we can crack Passage and potentially allow us a reattempt for Augur of Autumn to give us a card draw. Although we do plan on playing Migration's Path anyways. So we could go probably Migration's Path first. See if we can get that land on top. But then yeah, I kind of want to see if we can maybe hold off on sacrificing Fable Passage for when we get Tatyova to work. A little surprised the opponent didn't like sacrifice Thraben Inspector to the hidden stockpile, just that way they can scry and get the revolt trigger, get themselves a draw. Looks like they're thinking about doing that. Alright, so they sacrifice it for the 2 black mana off the Phyrexian Tower. So they'll get a card draw off the stockpile. I already forgot though, they technically already got the draw trigger from that already. Let's go Migration's Path. Let's get ourselves double blue. Alright, we'll get ourselves another blue off top. And we'll pass. So we are now at the point where we can play Tatyova. And we can get ourselves 3 landfall triggers. In the same turn. See, this is whenever non-token creature dies, right? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna take the hits. Gonna hurt. Now, the opponent can just sacrifice the clue, get a card draw, and that will trigger the stockpile. I like how they have a lot of these synergies working for their deck. Alright, choosing to sacrifice that. Putting it in the graveyard is good for them because they can blitz it so that way they can get the draw value. It also guarantees them triggers from Procession. Now, the Revolt trigger can only trigger once each turn, which is why I was thinking they might not sacrifice the creature right there. Let's see here. So let's go Tatyova. Go for the Evolving Wilds. Animate a land. That actually lets us play the elf off the top. We actually could play this Uro if we had another green source, but sadly, we're going to cycle Uro away. Get ourselves a green. Animate another land. I'm not going to sacrifice the Fabled. I really want that card. We'll pass it back. We're going to stay on the defense here. Because we're really low on life. Because the opponent can just sacrifice all their things at will to make us lose life thanks to their commander. Okay, underdog for our opponent. We'll sacrifice the Rejuvenator. Because Procession is another card that can only trigger once each turn. And since they're going to get a token from it anyways, might as well just offer the 1/1. Alright, what's their next play? Well, that's unfortunate. Alright. We'll let that resolve. We'll take action. I know that means that we're going to lose Nissa once we put it to the board. But let's see. So we can tap Llanowar Elf, tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to think what's the best way to get Nissa to the board and be able to play Tatyova and get the value we're looking for. I wish I had that wash away in hand. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Nissa. Play Tatyova. Untap the blue source. Oh, wait. Have I played a land from hand yet? No, I have not. So, green source to board. Animate. Animate. Activate. Green source. Animate. Combat. Attack. I'm only attacking with the 1 just because I don't think they're going to block with the vampire, and I need the mana to send these away. Sadly, we don't have the value off of being able to play a card from our hand with mana value 4 or less here. And it'll be the opponent's turn. Now all we have to do is just not get hit by a board wipe, and we should be able to punish a lot of damage on them. Alright, Yeheni. Yeheni doesn't do too much to us. It's a free sack outlet for them, allows them to give them +1/+1 counters, and let's see, whenever a creature an opponent control dies, is when it gets +1/+1 counters. You sacrifice your creatures to give it indestructible. Alright, Extraction Specialist allows them to get back Underdog, or Thraben Inspector. Alright, they get the Inspector. Now, Yeheni, again, like I said, it's only when our creatures die is when it gets +1/+1 counters. Okay. So they give the indestructible. Where are they going to attack? They don't attack. Well, that's fine. Let's see here. Tap this. Untap it. Land. Animate this for being a 3/3. Now it's a 6/6. Play Storm the Festival. Get the 2 lands. Animates. Animates. Then the Air Squad. That's a lot of damage we're pushing in. They don't have any flyer, so they have to take it. So let's see, we're looking at 6, 12. They're giving us a GG's, but... Oh, that was enough. It was exact. I thought I was short like 3 damage there or something. But there we go. Yeah, there we go. Math is for the defenders, isn't that right? Oh boy, that was great. But yeah, no, I actually managed to surprise Birthing Potter there. Neither one. I thought I was short damage there, and they even said themselves that they were not expecting us to, you know, get the lethal that turn, and they were just trying to set up. And yeah, no, there we go. So I hope you got to see and enjoy some of the power of our card. We have a little bit of time until our next round, because we're gonna have to wait for the other people who are participating in the tournament to finish their rounds. Let me double check how many people are participating. It looks like it's a pretty small night, so we'll only be having 3 pairings tonight. And it looks like, yeah, so just waiting on Crab and, the Crabs and, is it AB Cannon to finish their game. I'm gonna just take a peek to see how they're doing, and if it looks like they're gonna be a while, we will just go ahead and play some standard, I guess, to pass some time between the matches. Unfortunately for me to check in on them, they happen to be on an ad rolling, so I can't see how their game's going. That's a bit of a shame. Well, in that case, we will load up a standard deck. If there's any shoutouts on deck style you'd like to see played during these downtimes, feel free to call something out. We have a variety of decks. We have the Can't Stay Dead deck, which actually just uploaded to YouTube yesterday. And we have actually a number of these decks that are going to be uploaded very shortly. I know I didn't get one up today, but we'll have some more up tomorrow. And we'll be continuing the cycle of just trying to get some more content for everyone to be able to watch. That way, if you miss a stream, you can actually see how well the decks do. Let's actually just play some Domain Burn, just to have some fun. Although this deck doesn't run very fast, I don't mind if I have to abandon the game here. Because, yeah, it does look like their game is going to take a little while. It's a mirror match of Control. Alright, we're good to keep on this. Oh, I didn't put this in ranked mode. Oh well. Well, probably for the best I don't put it in ranked, just because if I have to abandon the game, don't have to worry about losing anything here. But if you're interested in what is inside the deck, there is the Untap.gg app running, so you can click and view the what's in the deck off to the left there. Let's go ahead and attack into the underdog. See if the opponent will trade it. Alright, they will. We'll bring another one to the board and land pass. Oh, a trespasser. Those things are so rude. Well, we'll attack in. They're not willing to trade. Well, we'll go for our Corpse Appraiser and take away their underdog. We will take the land and play that for our land return. Alright, Liliana for our opponent. Let's see here. We'll sacrifice here. I'd rather actually keep our underdog. Let's attack that Liliana, see if they're willing to protect it. I mean, why would you not attack with a Trespasser when you had an open board if you're not going to use it for a block, right? Alright, we'll go for the Fable. I'm actually fine with discarding a drag to the bottom against this opponent. Okay, so it's black, red, green Reanimator for our opponent. We'll actually just discard the drag. I don't feel like it's going to help here. We'll attack here, get rid of the Lily. The reason why I wanted to do that is just so that way I can get the extra burn damage in. I mean, it's kind of like the same, but the thing is, I get the extra draw. Alright. Teachings of the Crane for our opponent. It fills their graveyard, gives them lots of fodder. Let's see. Bring Lounge to the board. We'll attack in. Go for an Appraiser of Corpses. So that way we can exile their reanimation target. Goodbye, Titan. Keep the Outrider. And go for another Fable. At this point, we actually have lethal against the opponent with the amount of what we have on board and in hand. If they don't do something to get rid of the Kiki Jiki. Okay, that's a GG's. Another one. I will decline. Play the Outrider. Outrider's going to shoot our opponent in the face for 5. Create a copy of it. Another 5 to our opponent's face. And there they go. So, this is such a silly deck, but it works. Granted, our opponent did get stuck on mana. Let's see here. So, actually, I'm sorry. Let me double check, see how they're doing. Yeah, they still have a while until they're going to be done. So, I'll actually take this to the rank play, so that way you can see how this works while we're between games. Our opponent is cantrip. Nice. Alright, on the open... This is a risky hand to keep, but I'm going to try keeping it. Got ourselves a lot of direct damage to our opponent's face. One issue that our deck does have is we run a lot of these tap lands, so we kind of run slow because of that. But it's because we're running basically a 5-color mana base with Invoke Despair. We're actually a Grixis base of deck for what we play, but it's 5-color mana base to take advantage of the domain skill. Wait, so I got paired down against a gold, right? Alright, we go for the underdog, get the counterspell out of the opponent's hand. If it's not a counterspell, it's going to be a destroy spell. Alright. Make the opponent lose 2 life. There we go. Right, announcement for our opponent. Come on, deck. Give us that land. Yeah, there we go. What we're looking for. We just need 2 more black sources for these Invoke Despairs, and we could probably just burn the opponent out here. Alright, Zamnir's Lounge. That's another thing we were looking for, so. Keep the good times rolling. Alright, so we have the ability to make our opponent lose 3 life. We gain 3 life off this Maestro Charm. Or we could try to dig for the black sources for these, What are you going to do with that Wandering Emperor? splashed it in. You clearly had a plan. What's the plan? If they go for the plus, I'm actually going to fire Maestro Charm, deal 5. Yep. Deal 5. Get rid of the Emperor. So opponent's on the Esper Control Token plan. So it's got Super Friends, it's going to have Soren in the deck, it's going to possibly have Kaido. Alright, we actually get another Black Source, which is kind of what we were hoping for. Gonna burn ourselves for 2. Well, that actually puts the underdog back in hand, so we're able to replay it as a body now. That's dangerous. So opponent should target their Interceptor. It'll unfortunately give them a lot of life, so our burn plan is going in a bad direction here. Alright, we offer a block here. It doesn't matter where we block, we're just going to die, unfortunately, unless we can get dragged down. Yeah, we don't get dragged down. That is unfortunate. We'll just, you know, throw this for fun, but we'll give them the GGs. We don't have anything. Yeah. So they even had the counterspell if we had the drag down. Unfortunate. Yeah, no, that timing on the Rafine, very bad for us. Okay, pretty good hand here. Early interruption. We got ourselves the drag down, or drag to the bottom. Oh. Sorry. Gotta go, opponent. Our next opponent is waiting for us. They have finished their match.
New pairing received.
Hello, is it AB Cannon? You seem to be our opponent. Alright, let's see how this goes. So friendly brawl, best of 1, coin flip, and we're good to go. Alright, round 2. Oh, I just need to update the information here. There we go. Having a lot of fun actually just playing the domain burn deck that I got a little sidetracked today. Looks like AB Cannon has not checked in yet, so we're just waiting for them to check in. I guess while we're waiting for that, how are things going for everyone in chat? Hope that things are going well. Out of all the Dominaria United options, if you had to make a deck, which character would you like to make a card, you know, a deck around for Brawl? Anyone have any like opinions on what they think would actually have been a good commander for the Brawl tournament here? So far, we've seen the white-black creature that makes it that way people lose life whenever your creatures die and you gain life. And we are playing Tatyova for turning our lands into creatures. I imagine a lot of people might have thought Zero would be a good idea, and I do think Zero is actually a very strong commander option. But I'm not too sure outside of those I can name off the top of my head real fast, how many stood out as legendaries that you'd want to build around. I mean, I guess there's always Jodah. Jodah felt like it was like made for Commander, as it makes it that way all your legendary creatures get +1/+1, or +X/+X for each legendary creature you control. Oh, looks like we are getting started here. Oh, and is it AB Chem is playing Zero. Alright, so let's see here. I think it's actually a pretty keepable hand. Got a little bounce interaction between these two. We have the ability to ramp, and we have the Immortal Sun. I don't know how well the Immortal Sun is going to work against a Zero deck, but we'll try keeping it. We will sacrifice this, and we'll go get ourselves a green source right away. Probably use the Omen of the Hunt to get ourselves a blue source. Bounty Agent for our opponent. Yeah, that's fine. Omen of the Hunt. Get a blue. Take action. They're going to use Curious Obsession on it. Okay. I guess we'll have to use a bounce spell then, just to get rid of the Curious Obsession. Let's just start off just using Fading Hope here. Okay, we want that, so we will play the Exploration. We don't kick it because we can only draw one card with it anyways. Okay, keep both on top. Go for it on another blue source since we have this, you know, coming off top for green. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this card, I'll just hold it up over here. This is a alchemy only card, so you can discard it, tap up to one target non-land permanent, draw a card, then you may exile 2 other cards named Kalandajin Emperor from your graveyard. When you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. When you discard Jin, conjure a copy of it, and it's 7 from the top of your library. That's unfortunate. So we're going to be forced to discard an artifact, instant, or sorcery. They do take our Immortal Sun, which we were going to try to put to the board this turn, but they beat us to it. Alright, let's go ahead and get Cultivator to the board. Let's actually go for... Try to think like what's the better thing to do here. If we go for Tatyova, oh, you know, that's what I should have done. I should have played Cultivator, then played... No, I still would have been short of mana. Either way, we were short 1. Oh well. Go for Cultivator. Because this is the land number 7 here. This is important because this would have been like, if Tatyova was on board, we would have been able to start getting our land drop effects. We'll just pass it back. So that way we can activate Omen of the Hunt to get the Scry 2. Also, let's just hold up into the Royal in case our opponent tries to interact with maybe our Cultivator or anything else. The Zav. Ah. So you can pay X with Lazav and transform to any creature in your graveyard. So far they only have a 6 cost, but the important thing is you can surveil so you can like push a card off the top. Alright, Bounty Agent to the board. Get ourselves a Scry 2. Alright, we'll keep these. Go for the regular land on top first. Land, animate. Play iteration, put that back into hand. Attack in. So next turn, we can play the hideout. Get ourselves 2 land triggers. And let's see, we get ourselves a card draw unless we return an artifact, which was exiled by this Larcenist. Why did you have to be exiled, Larcenist? Why? Oh, man. Alright. Unfortunately for Izzet, they seem to have been stuck on lands. Because they only have 4 there. We did do a little bit of ramping, but we didn't actually ramp that much. Alright, that's a desperation dig for lands, and they find it. Let's see. So we can animate 2. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of animation. How much damage are we going to send here? I'm actually trying to calculate this. This is gonna be a lot here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Regrowth. Sacrifice. One of each. Animate, animate. And they scoop. That's a lot of damage. Holy cow, how much were we gonna send there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we were actually sending 21 points of damage, but they could block 1? Wow, yeah, no, that's crazy. Alright. So, there we go. We got our challenge set up. Friendly Brawl. Our opponent wins the coin flip. All right. I mean, that's actually a really good showing of just how much damage we can actually push in a turn just out of nowhere. Now, Again, our opponent unfortunately got stuck a little on mana, so I don't know how consistent we can really be, but so far it's showing pretty good consistency on being able to just we get our lands, we get our commander to the board, and we just start animating and sending. All right. Ah, geez, this is such an awkward looking hand. I don't keep this one, right? Because we're missing the double green for Autumn. Crucible is good if we can get the fetch lands, but there's no guarantee we will. So we're going to send this one back. Alright, now if I had these fetch lands, I would have kept it, but this one's still just a straight up keep. Let's see, so we start off with the hideout. Then we go for Breeding Pool, Land, Rejuvenator. Because I want to save the Evolving Wilds if I can for when this is on board. Give ourselves a blue source. Let's actually... We'll go for this land to the board. Make them think that we may have like something like a negate or any of those 2 mana cost counterspells. Alright, unfortunately they Spellbinder us. They probably will tax either the Dissipate or the Tatyova. They actually might just tax the Rejuvenator, but I'm thinking it's going to be one of these two. Yeah. So we hit a Sock coming. We'll take that action. We will get ourselves the Rejuvenator to the board. Grab ourselves another blue source. Next turn is going to be land and probably set up the Sock coming. No, just lands. That way we can maybe just dissipate straight up off the 5. Alright, pass it back. So is it though? Unfortunately, it looks like they missed another land drop. Now, they know that we have Counterspell Magic in form of Dissipate over here. Now, I'm just wondering if we can get lucky enough to get Tatyova to the board. Please, no Counterspell? Oh, we get it to the board. That means we'll get this land draw trigger. Alright, they go for the immediate kill spell, which means I actually will sacrifice this now. If they waited for me to sacrifice, then we would have missed that second draw. But to be honest, I was just going to hold off of sacrificing until after they went for a potential kill spell on it. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... So we have the ability to go Tatyova, land, animate one. Opponent gets Kalitas. Kalitas is an issue. But we have the ability to hold up Counterspell Magic here. So we should be good. Animate this. Pass it to the opponent. No, I'd rather you not. portable hole gets rid of the island, but we can always potentially get that back later. That's fine. Oh, wait. No, can't get rid of the island. Oh, man. I was thinking it gets rid of the island, but it's worded non-land. And they made probably the same mistake I was thinking for a second there. Yes, I will sacrifice my land, get rid of the Kalitas. They still get the 2/2 token, but that's fine. Go for Azusa. Land drop. Animate. Land drop. Animate. Spring. Land. Animate. Pass it back to the opponent. I'm not sure why they say oops. Disdainful Stroke, Wandering Emperor. Where's all your enchantments for Azure deck? I feel like you're pretty light on your enchantments. Just the I'm attacking, give up. Because we can block a lot of these, no problems. None of their cards I'm afraid of Lazov turning into at the moment, because they don't have the mana for transforming into get. Let's see. Target card, feature card in your graveyard, mana value X. It's legendary, yeah. At this point, we'll move to combat. We'll send the things in the air. Might see a Spellbinder chump one for a trade, but nope, doesn't seem to be the case. Now we have both mana that we can use Dissipate or Sublime Epiphany here. Okay, that doesn't do anything. I think, is it forgot that it's an ETB? Yep, they forgot that it's an ETB. And there's the Shame Scoop. Oh, is it? Oh, alright, well, I mean, we definitely had the lockdown on is it here, so I can understand them giving up there, but it's a shame to see how the mighty Is It AB Cannon just is making the mistakes they are. Now also, they were playing a Azure deck and hitting no enchantments. Alright, so far we are 2 for 2 on our opponents. And let's see here. According to the match log, Crab should be on the bye. So we're waiting for... Oh, no. Crab's actually against Heretical. So we're just waiting for Crab's game to get reported if they're done. But it seems that they have another match at least. So, since Heretical and Crabs are playing, we'll go ahead and just hop into some more queues just to buy some time. If there's any request on what you'd like to see me play, feel free to shout it out. Because at this point, we're just killing time between matches. I figure I'll just load up the Domain Bird again. It's a deck that it's silly and I have fun with. And it's got a level of seriousness to it that it can still compete, but it's definitely not going to be what you'll see at the top of the charts here. It's not... No one's going to build this crazy deck. Alright, we'll keep this. The black, blue, red, we have all of our primary mana colors. Alright, we hit the Invoke. At this point, kind of like to see a off-color Triome to come down for the purpose of filling out this Outrider. Alright, well, getting ourselves another Raid Reckoner going. At this point now, I just want lands of any color. Probably still prefer black sources just for the Invoke, but... Oh, we're against a Domain deck ourselves. So this is probably... Wait, are they actually just using that for the discard, get a land, and gain life? If they are, that's interesting. Sadly... we miss a land drop. We'll be back with the tournament soon. Like I said, we're just between rounds, so just playing some standard here to kill the time. Alright, War Chief for our opponent. Okay, there we go. We hit another land. Land pass. Actually should have attacked for the 2, but I wanted to make sure that if our opponent did have a removal spell to take out our 1 blocker that I was planning on using, because I plan on using Flame Blessed Bolt to kill the War Chief. I wanted to make sure we had it available. By using Flame Blessed Bolt to finish it off, it means it's going to go into exile, so they don't get the 4/4 death trigger. Potentially seeing the Topiary Stomper come at us next turn. May just use Hero's Downfall to kill it, but we'll see what the opponent plays. I'd like to hold up the Downfall because this is a turn where they could go land, play Titan of Industry. If they do Titan of Industry, I want the Downfall to be able to kill the Titan. Alright, another Raid Reckoner to the board. Alright, so they're gonna blitz. If that's the case, we kill the Stomper now. Can't afford to take that much damage. Next turn, we'll bring out the Outrider. I'd love to get one more land of any color just for the sake of Outrider Alright, I guess we don't take the Outrider to board. We just drag it. So we can get rid of Stomper. Cruelty of Gix allows them to revive any creature in their graveyard. Or actually, any creature in any graveyard. Fortunately, they get rid of our Outrider from our hand. Because they decide to search a hand first. Next turn, they're going to lose 3 life and get to search their deck. Come on, deck. Give us the black, white, blue land so I can have Outrider come down and hit the opponent for 4. The thing is, I know exactly what card they're going to go get, but I still go with the Outrider to board. I mean, actually, they could go for something that surprised me. They could go like a Tox Roll, but I'm fairly certain they get Titan. So this is only going to bolt our opponent for 3. We're still missing a black source for this Invoke Despair. I do think it's interesting that the opponent is just using this Herd Migration as just like a potential just great 2 creature tokens. But they're primarily using it just to discard, get a land, and gain life. Just to sustain them while they set up.
New pairing received.
Oh, pairings happened? Okay, well, in that case, I mean, there's more than one reason for us to scoop up here, but... and I just hit the land for the Invoke. That's a shame. But we'll go ahead and jump into our game with Heretical here. Okay. Format, friendly Brawl. Best of 1, coin flip, and here we go. Round 3. Okay. This is an interesting hand. I think I'm gonna still keep it. Alright, Shambling Gas for our opponent. Not too worried about that. I am worried about this coming down and just plussing him right away. Let's go for the blue source. I wanted to play the green source so I can use Nissa's Triumph, and then I just remembered, like, we're against a Liliana. Yep. Let's see here. Back to hand. I want to keep the Immortal Sun. The Immortal Sun is important against them. We'll give up Epiphany since we're so far away from using it. Go for... This is tough. Go for blue source. Pass it back. I'll go for the blue source, that way I can use Brazen Borrower against them. It's a little early flashing that in, but we'll go ahead and put it to the board. Gonna give up Tatyova. Alright, I had cut down, so it didn't matter that I flashed it in when I did. Go for the Triumph. Get ourselves 2 forests. Now, next turn, it's probably going to be we discard Shigeki. Alright, yep. So... Oh, actually... Yeah, we are going to discard Shigeki. Get to the board. Oh, hello! The Crabs! Thank you for the raid! I see it's a small group tonight, but still thank you nonetheless. Alright, we'll offer a block here. We'll take the 2 in the air. How was your stream? I saw that you're part of the event. I guess you got the buy from the round since you're already raiding. Alright, we'll give them the Shigeki. Go for the Immortal Sun. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, cool crew. Hey, Birthing Potters, nice to see you in here too. Yeah, I know we got you with the card a little bit. Go ahead and get some attacks over at the Lily. So, shame to hear that you got beat up so badly then. Got some new brews. Alright, well, I mean, nice to hear that you got new things going on. I would love to know what you tried to do. Alright, let's see. We get ourselves 2 lands here with this druid. Unfortunately, they both go to hand. Animate. Lands. Animate. Well, attack in. I just realized that I shouldn't have actually wasted an attack on the Lily, because this just shuts off the ability to be activated. Oh no! A Cavalier of Night. What are you going to destroy, opponent? My land? Okay. Land destruction for our opponent. Offer blocks? Actually, we don't need this Emerald Grove anymore, so we're fine if it dies. And it looks like we're going to get there on the value. So we'll storm the festival over Krasis. Get the Uro, get the forest. See, we have lands in graveyard, right? So play Excavator, play the land, animate the land, and there we go. Too much value. Man, this new Tatyova, I think, will replace the old Tatyova for a commander, just because, just as you can see, how powerful it is. Oh man, I was actually worried about that Lily, but there we go. Well, that's game 1. Let's see if we can, how we can do in game 2 and game 3 here. Oh, wrong thing. I say game 2 and game 3 because I do feel like I might just lose one. I do not feel confident against Lily. I don't have anything to put on the board early. Yeah, so that's it. Opponent wins coin flip. Well, we have the fastest way to lose a game. I think this is still worth trying to keep, possibly. Because we have Oracle of Muldai, which allows us to play lands off the top, give us additional land plays. Roiling Regrowth, which ramps. The question is, how much pressure do they put on us early? Alright, I love the Wash Away draw, because it actually gives us an answer to this Lily. Yeah, no, I do not want to deal with that early of a Lily still. This is one of the reasons why in regular Commander you're not allowed Planeswalkers as your commander, because they're pretty busted. Alright, we'll just land pass. Gutmon. Before they hits the board, I'll just go ahead and activate this now. Get ourselves... Or Gutmorn. I always screw up his name. Gutmorn. We'll give them the Consuming Tide, because it's a spell they don't ever really want to play against us. Okay, so they're going to duress us. Now, do they take our Pact? Because if they take Heretical, I don't think you want to take the Pact, because if you did, there would be a huge issue. Actually, would have laughed, because this actually, if you take this, because how Gutmorn's worded, he affects the mana cost. This is the triggered ability, you'd lose the game. So, glad they didn't fall for that trap. Oh, unfortunately, we don't have a land on top. I can't use the Pact. I was hoping to be able to have the one more mana so I can actually pact them. Alright, we'll give them this back. Oh, we get the Consuming Tide back. That's great. That is not a land on top. I need land. Alright, let's go get ourselves another blue source. Oh, and I still failed to hit land. Alright, punch the Lily. Because we can give up Cultivator, I'm fine with that. If they decide to use a sacrifice. Why did I let Rankle resolve? Well, I kind of have to. That's why I let it resolve. Alright, so we're all going to discard. We'll give them Azusa. Sacrifice will be Cultivator. Yeah, we are in an awkward position in this fight. Another Embrace for our opponent. I mean, Gutmorn's giving them value, but at the same time, it's kind of making things awkward for them. How do you work? Destroy all non... No, I'm not going to be able to get to that anytime soon, unfortunately. Somehow I'm just still failing at lands. Alright, well, we'll Emerald Grove this. Get ourselves 2 lands. Alright, 1 gets to go into play, so this is like a Cultivate here. Go ahead and hit there again. If we end up playing Pact, we'll be down 5 mana next turn. So we'd still only have 2 mana. It actually doesn't make us go down any cards. We just cycle cards back and forth with our opponent. Do we counterspell? I don't think so. A Necroglyph. Okay. Let's give them the Pact. Let's see if they'll fall for the counterspell on it. They might just misplay. Thank you for the Cavalier. I will gladly use this. Let's see, how much mana do we have? So yeah, we can do this first. Land. Animate. Activate. That's fine. Sacrifice here. Let's get rid of Rankle. Because Rankle just hits for too much damage for us to really handle. And we want to keep our Oracle here, so no activate there. If they do kill Cavalier of Night, we can animate Azusa back to the board. Yeah, this gives +3/+1 flying and demon into addition to other types. So that means that we could play it on Cavalier. Get ourselves a huge life linking bonus. Yeah, we'll counterspell that. Now you don't get the ability to swing for lots of damage. If they make a sacrifice with Lily. Yeah, because if I didn't do that, I would have just died right there, right? Oh no, I'm still dead. Because they hit the plus draw a card and lose a life. There we go. Good game, opponent. Yep. I forgot that allowed you to revive any creature from your graveyard. So I did make a misplay. Not by allowing this to the board or not getting it off. Because a return target creature card from your graveyard, then it becomes a zombie. I thought it was bring back any zombie. I misread it. Well, that was a shame. Alright. We're going to game 3. We have the draw this time, though. Our first time having the auto win coin flip. Let's see how we do here. Alright, so we have some ramp. I think, yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Alright. Play into the north. Go find yourselves the blue-green source of land. Drawing a Cyclone Summoner was not good for us. Oh, a Thoughtseize, unfortunate. So what do they take? I think they just take the Saw Coming, right? Yeah. They take just the guaranteed counterspell. Let's see here. Land, pass it back. Cyclone Summoner, unfortunately, not going to be very useful to us in this fight. We can't counterspell that. Raise and borrow 2 board, and we'll discard Summoner. Go for Tatyova. Just that way we can play to the board. So we want to kind of protect our life total a bit from all their little attacks. Discard the land. I really want to keep the land, but... Oh, if I'd kept that land! The Immortal Sun! Alright. That's unfortunate. Alright, so they bring it back out. We give up Tatyova here. I specifically brought it to the board just that way it could be a sacrifice fodder. And Immortal Sun. We have now shut you off your Planeswalker. Since I can't block you, I might as well go for your face. Sir Conrad is unfortunately a large body that does lots of damage to us. Alright, so Tatyova to board, animate the land, attack the face, I can't think of anything Mono Black has against artifacts. So, block and block. I choose not to block Curse Brown Witch, just because I don't know what they're going to get. And I might as well also block the 2 things that, you know, hit the hardest there. Tail's End, just to prevent them from being able to play that back from their graveyard. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. It's like, what could they have? It all has to be colorless cards, is the thing. Alright, this is actually really cool. So I can bounce all of these back to their hand. Topiary Stomper gets to go to the battlefield for free. And then I'll have the mana for the Disdainful Stroke. That would actually probably be more likely. You do have a point there, Birthing Potter. Alright. Full attack the face. And... oh no, that was lethal. I miscounted the damage again because I have Immortal Sun boosting my team. And there we go. We get the win out of nowhere. Oh, man. Yeah, this deck quickly does a lot of this, where suddenly you don't really have a whole lot to the board, and then you just, bam, a lethal strike. It's so good because of that. But, yeah, well played, Heretical. It was a good match. It was really close. Oh man, yeah, if you're curious about what was in the deck, this was the deck idea. It was a whole bunch of just... so Tatyova was just a whole bunch of ramp cards with counter magic and bounce. So that way I could keep people off of like their big cards, or make it so that way their early stuff gets sent back. And with only a few real like late game plays in the deck, like I actually wasn't sure how well the Immortal Sun was going to be, you know, working out for me. And then, you know, I came across the Liliana deck and drew up twice against them. So that was just a lot of luck. But it's nice to see how well just a whole bunch of ramp works with Tatyova here. And now that I think about it, actually, with how Karn Celix is worded, I don't have it, but destroy each non. Oh man, I should totally have been using Karn Celix in the deck. This was a definite worthwhile craft for it. Birthing Potter, you made me think of something to make this deck even more scary. Because I'm fine with blowing up my own board, as you see most of the time, our main threat is just these lands that get animated from Tatyova here. And being able to have a board wipe in blue-green, that seems terrifying. But yeah, no, this worked out really well. Oh man, let's see, what was the actual standings of the night? Oh, it looks like we're still waiting on some people to finish. Is it AB and I forget who the other person's tag is. Are still playing. But oh man, this is. I'm glad to see how. When I was like looking over the rare options, and I was like thinking, oh, the other person is you. Oh, Birthing Potter. It's like I was like, I think it's Birthing Potter, but I wasn't 100% sure. Oh, is it just didn't show? Pulled a no show. Got it. Sorry to hear that. Because I was actually kind of curious, like, where everyone lined up on the ranks. It's been a while since I managed to actually win one of these, so... And the fact I got the 3-0 was just... I'm a little excited. Last couple decks that I tried, a couple of them worked pretty well. Some of them just completely flopped on their face. But... yeah, no, the... let's see, Birthing Potter, if I remember correctly, we played in the first round, right? Or were you the second round? I'm already forgetting that, unfortunately. Like, I'm got the memory of a goldfish sometimes. I played against you in the first round because I went against AB Ken in the second round. That's right. Yeah, and your white-black deck actually was like one of those things I was worried, like, would I be able to get to the board fast enough? Because you would be able to generate, you know, a whole lot of life sustain, gain life, and just make me lose life scenario. The I got lucky against Izzet because they are playing Zur and they didn't draw any enchantments against me. So that was just a lucky stroke for me on, you know, my round 2. But it was a lot of fun playing against you there, Birthing Potter. Your deck was definitely showing power. I just got the ability to fly over you. It's the only reason why I think I was able to win. And the one turn, I think, yeah, there was one game, one round against you where I just didn't realize I had the lethal and went just all auto in, and it was like, oh crap, I actually killed you this turn. I thought I was just gonna knock you low. But oh man, yeah, no, I think what this deck does is just so amazing. Like, I honestly did think that the Liliana deck was going to beat me just because I don't have any early interactions against it. Yeah. I mean, Teferi's protection definitely would have stopped me from getting that lethal strike against you because it prevents your life total from changing. So, because yeah, I did suddenly burst the board with a whole bunch of ramp, which animated my things, and I just was able to swing a ridiculous amount. Because you let me keep the Nissa, which surprised me. I thought I wasn't going to be allowed to keep that. And that's when I had the 3/3 animated through Nissa, and then animated it a second time through Tatyova, and went from being a 3/3 to a 6/6. Because Nissa's worded that you put 3+1/+1 counters on a land that's not already a creature. And then Tatyova allows me to target any of my lands to turn it into a 3/3. So by combining the two, I was able to get those 6/6 bodies. So yeah, no, that was pretty crazy. In which case, since unfortunately Melee won't allow me to show the win-loss board, I think we'll just go ahead and wrap it up here. I do have to admit though, I did forget a card to put in this deck, Birthing Potter, that I should have put in here. Land Elemental. Yeah, I think I would have flashbacked if Nissa, but wanted to... Yeah, no, I understand that. But there was a Elemental I forgot to put in this deck. Let me turn the craft mode off. I forgot to put Ancient Green Warden in this deck. And you saw how many things I do that's off the Tatyova getting all that mana value. It's I remembered the idea. It's I like the idea of playing lands back from my graveyard, so I included 2 cards that did that. I forgot Ancient Green Warden, which is one of the best ones that does it. Because it also doubles up my landfall triggers. So 1 land would turn into 2 creatures. But the thing is, since I can play my lands back from my graveyard, it meant that... Oops, sorry about that. It meant that if I were to... bring back a Fabled Passage from my graveyard with Green Warden on bay, it meant that this would landfall, enter the battlefield. I get to animate 2 of my lands into creatures, sack this, go fetch another 2 lands, or I'm sorry, another land to get another 2 landfall triggers, animate another 2 lands, and it would just instantly turn all my lands into creatures almost a ridiculous amount. But I have to admit, I did like the idea of Crucible of Worlds and the Raymond Excavator in the deck because of the fact I was running the Royal and Regrowth with these cards. And I was able to see it in the game, and I thought it was so cool that I was able to play the lands back and get see some of that value happen. But in which case, I hope everyone enjoyed the decks here. I thought it was a lot of fun playing this one. And the fact that we managed to win it was still... I honestly thought that this deck might run a little slow, because you have to get to 7 lands, but when you run this much ramp, it works so well. I think this is a legitimate, just straight-up commander for a regular commander now. Because, as you saw, it just explodes the board. Oh, man. And I'm just going to keep saying explode all night now. Well, in which case... Yeah, unfortunately, I think it ended a lot earlier than usual. Normally, we have the tournament lasts until about 8, but looks like we're gonna wrap stream a little early tonight. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks again to the Crabs again for raiding and hosting the event. I mean, if it wasn't for the Crabs, none of us would be probably participating like this. Yeah, the thing is, I saw Tatyova, the Benefit Druid, thinking, oh man, this is already a really good commander deck, but this one, you don't actually need to play creature threats. All you just need is the ramp, and there's your creatures. So I actually think Steward of Tides might be better than Benthic Druid as a commander for actual play. So, because this one you still have to draw into something to kill your opponent. And there's ways to punish and shut off the extra draw mechanics in cards. Like a person could play Narset, a person could play the new black Praetor that Shouldered to make it so you lose life whenever you draw cards. So I think this one actually became a lot weaker, while this one ends out just being a very solid card to play in general. Now, I could be wrong. Benthic Druid, still no slouch. But as far as uncommon commanders, or just commander in general, I think the Steward of Tides is amazing. But, in any case, I'm just going to go ahead and send everyone else off on a raid then tonight. If you have any suggestion on who we should go hit up, feel free to shout them out. Let's see who's online right now. Let's see. Looks like the Orange Crunch is online if we want to go hit up that person. Other than that, Oh, I guess there's also Power Dragon. And they're crafting stuff for Standard, which I actually like Power Dragon's content. They make some interesting decks. So I guess we'll go set up a raid to Power Dragon, since we've managed to finish the tournament and got lucky enough to take the win. So I wish everyone have a nice night, and thanks again for joining. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for our usual stream. We'll be back online at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I'll be having more content put onto the YouTube. If you missed the stream, I'll try to have this tournament edited and uploaded by Thursday. So until then, I wish you all have a nice night, and enjoy yourself over at Power Dragon. Make sure to send them some hellos and support. Until next time, take care.
Tatyova not bad. Alright, I think we're just gonna go with this though. And I think just pass. CNG stream came through the party of 4. Thank you for stopping by today. We are goofing around with some I don't even know what you want to call it. Some self-mill craziness. Alright, they're not even attacking. I guess they would just run into this. So that means they have nothing to kill our taxidermist, which is solid. Though it does mean that's possibly a counter since they're not killing anything here, which is a little bit concerning. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. So, do we want to save to try to kill that during their upkeep? I think we do, because I don't want to run Lily out, or Vivian out just yet. If it's not what we think it is. Alright, so let's end. And then let's try to kill this guy. Alright, they don't have a counter. Good to know. That's all we needed. That was the information we were looking for. Corpse Appraiser. All right. Well, that means they're not going to attack for a minute, but that's okay. This also puts us in a situation where if we can draw another 2-mana thing, we would be able to play Vivian and make a 4/4 and have a blocker as well, which could be pretty good. Though they did just shrink our taxidermist by removing something from our yard, which sucks. But we can't do anything about that. No blocks. Though we could get back a big Goyf if